Welcome back to Dark Knights. We left off on the Corrado route with, I think it's Chapter 2 Lies. Hope you're all having a good day. Ginger tea and scrambled eggs with veggies. That should replenish his strength. At school, I noticed my classmates whispering at their desks. I can vaguely make out the words dead and unknown. They must be talking about the murder that occurred a few days ago. Yeah, we totally had nothing to do with that. Leoji tells me that one of the officers clued me a suspicion last night. However, someone else is under surveillance. He doesn't know who, but I feel like it might be Kaichi. Miyoko, are you okay? Leoji said you were involved in an incident. Yeah, I'm fine. I was involved in a mugging a couple days ago, and the culprit was found dead shortly after. I was under suspicion for a bit, but Leoji was telling me I've been cleared. I think I get away from Chain anyway. I doubt Chain's the murderer, but this is too weird. I head to the school canteen for lunch. With Corrado at home, my food seems to disappear at an astounding rate, and I did not have enough left to prepare lunch after making his breakfast. On my way, I bump into Roya and almost drop my wallet. He gives me an apologetic smile and asks if I'm alright. Hello, kidnapper dude. I'm instantly wary, recalling his attack a few nights ago. Ah, Miss Miyoko. Hi, Roya. Are you heading to the canteen? Yeah, I forgot to bring my lunch today. In that case, take this. Someone prepared a lunchbox for me, but I don't need it. Roya pushes a decorated box into my hands. Judging from the cutesy design, it looks like a confession gift. Someone must like him a lot to go all the way to make this. The suited made is especially for you. I can't accept it. Just take it, I don't really feel like having it. I'd rather eat something else. His deep gold eyes are pinned on me while he leans closer. Are you sure you're not a vampire? Nice. He's probably a werewolf or something. I think vampires normally have red eyes in these things. Heh, I shouldn't make such jokes. You're such a pervert when we're alone. Well, since you insisted, thank you for the lunchbox. It'll be your responsibility if your admirer found out you gave it away. Right. If you excuse me, I'll be heading back to my class. Hold on, there's something I want to tell you about that mugger. Huh? I'm the one who took out the trash. You mean, would you still call it murder if he had questionable history? That is not for you to decide. Besides, Chain had already arrested him. His death brought me and Kaichi under suspicion. You really shouldn't have done that. Don't worry, I'll be a good boy and turn myself in. How are you going to explain yourself? Aw, are you worried about me? Careful, Miyoko. I'll start thinking you like me. I actually came here for other business, but it's always a pleasure to see you. I saw Corrado the other day, so I thought, if you want to tell him something, I can pass the message. Thank you, but no, it's rather personal. It sounds like you're planning on confessing to him. What are you talking about? I see. There is something else I want to confess, but I won't tell you. He winks at me and walks off before I can respond. Not that I have anything to say to him. His words leave me confused. He seems like a simple person on the surface, but I wonder if he hides something deeper. Like he's a vampire or something. I'm not oblivious to flirting, but he can't be serious, right? I removed the pink ribbon around the lunchbox and opened the lid. Inside are various side dishes with rice. There's even a heart-shaped dessert. I have not seen Roy in school until recently. This person must be familiar with him to give him this gift, right? I feel bad for taking it, but it might be worse if she found it in a trash bin. I head to the library after class. I need to borrow a few books for my history assignment. Mr. Blanchett has been going easy on me, but I don't want to fall behind. Oh, have you finally started staying awake? After finishing my homework, I reach home to find Corrado getting ready to leave. Are you feeling better? Yeah, I slept the whole day. Did you miss your shift? It's fine, I got someone from another department to cover for me. Besides, I have an appointment tonight. Chain will be here soon to look after you. Can I do anything? Don't worry about that, you probably have homework to do. I finished it while I was at the library. You're so stubborn. Corrado scratches the back of his head, brow furrowed in thought. I thought he was more comfortable with sharing things, but he still keeps a lot from me. I cross my arms and pout. Yesterday I stopped by the office to submit my testimony and clear up that you were with me the night of the murder. Then I had to talk to my supervisor and check in with the witness, file some reports, and it kept dragging on. I hope this relieves your worries a bit. Thank you. I know you're only supposed to protect me from suspicious people, so I really appreciate you going out of your way like this. You're so extra. Correcto. Suddenly he leans forward and I feel a warm touch on my forehead. No homo. It takes a moment to process what just happened. Clearly he kissed you on the forehead. A guardian angel. Or ghost. What was that? Did he just... My bad, you just looked cute. He pulls back and smiles before leaving the house. That's thumbnail worthy. Wait, no, of course not. Now he's actually getting away. Did he really think that would stop me from coming after him? I peek out the window and see no sign of Chain. Better catch up to Crowder before I lose track of him. Crowder hasn't gone very far. He strides through the street greeting people on the way. Moving around like this makes me feel like a stalker though. This is pretty normal. Maybe he isn't. Wait, why are we at the mansion? Is he here because of Roya? I've been here before, but there's a softer atmosphere this time. It almost feels like a different place compared to last time. The front doors are wide open like an invitation. I follow Krato inside, but then lose sight of him. I quietly roam around looking for Krato. No one appears to be on the first floor, so I quietly move upstairs. There are numerous doors along the hallways, indistinguishable from each other. Each turn brings me to another similar looking hallway. Maybe... Well, obviously he's hiding something. I opened a few doors, but most of them are empty. One of the rooms has a white piano. The lack of dust means it must have been used recently, though I don't bother looking too deep into it. I realize I walk in a circle when I enter the stairs again. Suddenly I feel a tap on my shoulder and quickly turn around. How sweet of you to pay me a visit. You should have called first. I would have welcomed you at the door. I didn't come here for you. You're here? Crowder must not be far behind then. I thought he already went in. Roy's eyes shift and he tilts his head. Something distracts his attention. Oh, Crowder's here? Perfect. Before I can process what he said, Roy moves behind me. My scream is cut off when he presses a hand over my mouth with enough force to make me stumble. My back hits his chest and the other arm winds around my waist, securing me in his arms. I only realize what is going on when I look past the railing to see Crowder downstairs. He's already looking at us. Let her go, Roya. If you want her, go and get her. Why is he suddenly holding me hostage? It feels like some sort of trap. Roya suddenly swoops me into his arms, carrying me bridal style as he heads back to the hallway. I try to scream out of his grip, but he effortlessly carries me like a doll. You should work out more. There's a short pause before I hear Crowder's footsteps racing up the staircase. What are you doing, Roya? Just trying to provoke him a bit. This isn't a game. If you want to talk to him, you don't need to involve me. That's the problem. He doesn't want to talk to me. What's going on between you two? Before I get my answer, Crowder blocks our path. Riz smiles in amusement as he sets me down. He clamps a hand over my wrist, preventing me from escaping. You're not even gonna try to take her back. I guess you won't mind if I have a little fun with her then. Crowder glances at me with a sad smile, as if an apology. I shrug. Roya, taunting me is pointless. When Crowder approaches us, Roya draws me back. You won't get her that easily, not without a fight. Why don't you draw your gun? I don't point it at civilians. Now, will you quit this childish game? I don't know where you're getting at. I'm sure you haven't forgotten. Forgotten what? We used to attend the same grade school. Crowder and I were in class 1E while my brother was in... You don't need to bring up the past. We're better off forgetting about it. Class 1E. You're totally from that school. Yes? I told you we can leave the past behind. Crowder grits his teeth. If that's really how you feel, then do me a favor and kill me. Huh? Why do Ray want him to do that? I've been feeling guilty all these years. You disappeared off the face of the earth for a while. I don't know how to apologize, though perhaps it's too late. Tell me, you remember, I know you hated it. Don't you wish for revenge all this time? Killing me will make us even. No, I won't do that. Afraid to stain your record? Then let me give you a little emotion. I was the one beyond the recent incident with the mugger. I made sure to give him the most gruesome death possible. You saw the scene, didn't you? I was the one who burned the marks into... Enough. That's not all. Remember the missing people from the past few weeks? You can tell your friends to quit searching because they're already dead. Wonder where all those bodies ended up? You cops would never think to investigate this place. Don't believe me? If you look in the room on your left, you'll find the teenagers, alphabetically arranged. To your right, all the female bodies. We like to keep them separate out of respect. Oh, and you'll also notice the chains on their wrists. You never know if any of them will wake up someday. His words send a chill up my spine. I can't tell if he's serious with that grin of his. That's enough. If you're confessing to these crimes, then I'll need to arrest you for what you've done. Not going to kill me? That isn't my call. Now let Miyoko go. You're no fun. Roya snorts but loosens his grip around my wrist. I think he's finally come to his senses, but Corrado's eyes widen suddenly. Something flashes in the corner of my eye. Roya's other hand switches to his pocket, but before I realize what's going on, Corrado dashes towards me and seizes my hand. Roya does not resist as Corrado pulls me away from him, allowing me to slip from his grasp completely. I turn my head and catch a glimpse of a small blade. With a victorious expression, Roya is already running forward with his dagger aimed for Corrado. With the same split second, I extend my other arm out, feeling a sharp sting as I'm pulled behind Corrado. Roya tries again, leaping forward with his dagger, but this time, Corrado blocks the attack with a gun he pulled from his coat. They exchange a few blows, each struggling to keep up with the other. I step back, putting a hand over the cut on my arm. I feel something wet against my fingers, and Roya glances my direction. He bites his lip when he sees my cut, but he does not pay any further attention to me as Corrado leaps towards him. Corrado tries to grab the dagger from his opponent, but loses focus when Roya kicks at his wrist. The fight halts when Corrado drops his gun and it clatters up across the floor. Oh no. Am I got to shoot one of them? It's like, that sucks. Only one thing left to do now. Oh no you don't, Roya. I dive for the gun and grab it before he does. I throbs nervously as I hold the gun in my hands. Don't move. Hey, this is unexpected. I didn't know you had the guts. There's no need for violence if you just stay still. It approaches me despite my warning. I slowly get to my feet and gun still trained on him. The barrel of the gun is shaking and I realize it is in my hands. He follows me as I keep stepping back when I hear Corrado talking to me, but I'm too focused on Roya to pay attention to his words. Suddenly Roya charges for me. At the same time, I feel a hand on my arm pulling me back. In the heat of the moment, I accidentally pull the trigger. Roya stares down at his leg. The wound immediately stains his fabric. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. How unfortunate. You need to work on your aim, Miyoko. I'd rather have Corrado do it, but you're not a bad choice either. Anyone but the hunter. Roya seems unfazed by the wound. He stands still, as if nothing happened. How can he endure something like that? Maybe... Suddenly, there's a gunshot from outside the hallway. A green blur whizzes by, tackling Roya to the ground. It takes a moment for me to realize it's Chain. I want to call out to him, but Corrado turns me around. He covers my eyes with his hands and whispers to me. Cover your ears, you don't want to hear this. I do as he says. I feel the recoil like gunshots travel from the floor to my bones. My hands do little to meet the screams that follow. It doesn't take long for the screams to die down. I try to turn around, but Corrado releases my face only to grab my shoulders, pulling me to his chest. Did you follow me, Chain? I followed Miyoko. I was told to guard her, but she ran off. Not a bad thing. I ended up finding the target. He was so distracted. Why don't you take the opportunity? Shane enters my line of vision as he circles something on the ground. I notice his shoes are stained with blood. He probably looks at me with narrow eyes and my body tenses. Is he gonna come after me next? Sorry for running away. Before long, he shifts his gaze to Corrado. He seems like he wants to ask something, but instead he heaves a sigh. Go, I've got this. It is raining when we leave the mansion. Questions pile up in my mind, but one stands out to me the most. Is Roya dead? Corrado nods quietly. I see a few scratches on his face. Injuries from the fight with Roya. Hell, my chest feels tight. What was the connection between the two of them? Roya did say they went to grade school together. And what was with Roya? Why did he want to die so badly? I don't understand any of it. The cut in my arm stings as we walk through the rain. Corrado suddenly takes my hand. He turns me around to face him and I feel him touching my cheek. That sad look doesn't suit you. But you... Corrado pauses, showing a cold grimace as if trying to cheer me up. He's terrible at it. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. When we get home, let me treat your wound. If you weren't there, I might really have shot him. So, thank you, Miyako, for holding me back. By the way, why did you follow me? I knew you were up to something. I was curious. Curiosity killed the cat. He combs his fingers through my hair upon noticing the guilt on my face. Well, Roya was anything but a friend. We just attended the same school. He used to bully me a lot, to an excessive degree. Maybe I should tell you more about my past later. I don't want you to think badly of me based on what you saw. It's just hard to explain, and you might not even care. You told me we've met before. I may not remember, but that doesn't mean I want to remain ignorant. Well, I hope you believe my ridiculous stories. Let's go home, it's late. The next day after school, I find Corrado still in bed. I go to check on him and realize that he's developed a high fever. His forehead is too hot to the touch, and he's sweating under the sheets. Besides that, his body's covered in bruises. Well, he got into a fist fight. Wait. He said that he knew you in the past. Does that mean... you, Roya, are all the people, like, are the main characters somewhat intertwined with this past school? That'd be interesting. He explains it was from yesterday when he fought with Roya. However, I noticed that some bruises are in the later stages of healing. They must be from a separate occasion. I can't believe how much of a klutz he is to have hurt himself that often. He sits up on the bed when I fetch the first aid kit. I can't believe you're nursing your bodyguard. You shouldn't have gone out yesterday then. I guess you stayed too long in the rain. Hey, you were with me. How comes you didn't catch a cold? Unlike you, I'm not that weak. I tease him while I pull off his old bandages and disinfect his wounds. As I look at Corrado's injuries again, the events of last night flash in my mind and grimace at the thought. I meant to ask him last night, but we were both exhausted and went to our rooms. Upon noticing the uneasiness in my eyes, Corrado nudges me. Hey Miyako, you alright? I can't get over what happened last night. Roya seemed so desperate. Was he really gonna kill us? Nah, he wouldn't have went that far, it was just a bluff. He was serious about his request. If we were to die, who else could he turn to? Although, he changed a lot since the last time I saw him. It's like I didn't know him anymore. You used to attend the same school, right? It wasn't a good experience at the time. I'm sorry you had to go through something like that. Eh, it's alright, I'm over it now. Corrado smiles softly to me and I stand, having finished redoing his bandages. I'll get you some water. Corrado acts overly familiar with me, yet I barely know anything about him. There must be something missing from my memory, but I don't think I suffer amnesia. While I'm in the kitchen, I'm startled by the sound of the front door opening. Oh no. My heart skips a beat when a familiar voice calls my name. I'm home, Miyako. Are you here? I freeze as I recall Corrado's upstairs. I really do not want to try and explain his presence to my mother. Oh man, this is great. Hey, Hey Mom, what brings you here so suddenly? It feels good to see your face again, Miyako. Your father needed some documents. He would have got them himself, but he suddenly got called in for a job and had to attend a meeting. I just came to get us things. Anyway, how are you doing? Everything's fine. Remember to take breaks. Don't overwork yourself, even if it's for school. If only she knew about my naps in my class. I flashed an innocent smile before nodding. Now, I should get those documents. I'll get them for you. Which ones do you need? You're so sweet. The documents are right on top of the first drawer. It's a black-colored map. You'll see it right away. I rush upstairs and find the documents in no time. My mother wraps her arms around me and strokes my head. It's been a while since I felt this comfort. I heard about the recent disappearances and murders in the village. I was concerned about you. Maybe she asked Ryoji's father to look after you. There's an investigator taking care of the neighborhood, so I'm doing fine. Perhaps I can ask the Hakase family to keep an eye on you. They're known to be good guards. Mom, are you even listening to what I'm saying? I just want to make sure you're safe. I'm sorry we're so busy. My research is nearly done. After Dad finishes work too, we'll go on a vacation together. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. Oh, such a sweetheart. Oh, I left a present for you under the dining table. It was your dad's idea. Give him my thanks. I have to leave right now. Taxi's waiting outside for me. By the way, you should really restock the cabinets, dear. You're running out of food and you know I don't like you ordering takeout. I clearly remember buying groceries the other day. Maybe Corrado did leave his bed to grab a fever snack. I nodded to my mother while silently plotting about my revenge on Corrado. I will give you a call sometime later this week. Eat well and dress up warm. Take care, Mom. She hugs me once more before leaving. I look through the curtains and watch a taxi driving away. It'll be a while before I see my parents again. I try to cheer myself up with the thought that they still think of me. Even though I do not see them a lot, our relationship is good. Also, Dad bought a gift for me. I'll check that out later. I return to the guest room. Where could he have gone to? Thoughts shoot through my head as I blankly stare at the dark shape previously hidden under the blankets. It takes me a moment to comprehend what it is. My first instinct is to reach out and scoop it in my arms. After that, I walk towards the window. The animal starts pushing against my arms, grabbing my attention. I blink a few times that it almost gives me an almost panicked gaze. Don't throw me out the window. I glance around the room, but I'm alone. Down here, the animal starts pawing at me. Corrado? Yes, I'm speaking through telepathy. You should be able to hear me, right? I can hear you. Oh, I was just checking if the window was broken or something. Corrado glares at me with narrowed eyes. It appears he doesn't believe me. I sit Corrado back down on the bed, kneeling down to examine him more closely. Oh my, I'm not, this is a curse. Can we not talk about this right now? He plops onto the bed, his face smushed against the sheets, and I notice how shallow his breathing is. Even in this form, it's obvious that he's sick. All right, your water. I left it in the kitchen. Give me a moment. I go downstairs and see the small package my mother left for me on the table. It is a small baby pink wrapped box with a sparkly pink ribbon. Yeah, this is definitely from Dad. I take the gift and a glass of water with me. When I return to the guest room, Corrado has returned to his human form. He looks so worn out now, and now he's started shivering under the blanket. I set everything down on the bedside table. There's so much I want to know, but I'll let you off the hook. For now. I pull the blanket up to his chin. I'll ask you later. Have a good rest, okay? The mysteries surrounding Corrado keep piling on top of each other, from his past with Roya to his curse. Can I still trust him with all these secrets? I stand, deciding to let him rest alone for a while, but he grabs my wrist. Stay. Please? I can't say no to his weak plea, if you insist. I heard a woman's voice earlier. Was that your mom? Yeah, she came by unannounced, but she had to go back to work. She sounded like a nice person. She reminded me of mine. To be honest, we're not that close. She's often far away for us to get a chance to be. But enough about me. How many secrets are you hiding? What happened to letting me off the hook? Don't tell anyone about it, especially Chain. He would literally kill me. Cardo's gaze flickers to the ceiling for a moment, then returns to my face with a sigh. That was the one thing I didn't want you to find out. Why? You and I share a common hatred of anything supernatural. But aren't you? Cardo's expression becomes grim. I didn't ask to be cursed. I hit a sensitive topic and hesitate before asking the next question. Do you also hate yourself? Maybe. There's still people who like you. Cardo laughs softly upon hearing my reply. Usually he's the one with cheesy lines, but I really meant what I said. I like you. He instantly blushes at my words. Even in a feverish state, he managed to pull off a mischievous grin. Don't get any weird ideas, I just said like... It should be obvious, otherwise I wouldn't have allowed you to stay. Heh, thanks. Maybe this isn't the right time to ask, but what was your childhood like? It wasn't that interesting. He closes his eyes in thought. Shortly after, his breathing slows and he goes quiet. You must have fallen asleep. Jeez, just when it was getting interesting. Well, he deserves a nap. My eyes glance over to the present that Mom left. Without really thinking about it, I pull out the ribbon to unwrap it. It contains 2 large plushies, a raccoon and a rabbit. Geez, Dad, how old do you think I am? You even sent 2. Still, the thought of my parents picking these out at a store makes me smile. Oh well, the fur is soft. I'm gonna keep these. I leave the room. Oh wait, it was Karada who was running around randomly. Huh. There's nothing interesting in the news today. I wonder if they'll mention Roy's death, but I hear nothing about it. These events have made me understand that the murders were not ordinary. They've been the work of the supernatural. Something both Chain and Karada have been involved with for some time. It's hard to believe the perpetrator was not human, even though I witnessed him with my own eyes. I've never encountered something like this before. Make soup for dinner and bring it upstairs to Karada. He's already sitting up at the bed and grins at me when I approach. Hey, I brought you some food. It's like you're my wife or something. I blush at his comment and lightly smack his arm. Do you think you feel well enough to tell me all your secrets? Alright, you sure you want to know them? What do you mean? You might look at me differently if I tell you. I doubt it, you're still you. No matter your past or how many bunny tails you have. I don't want you to hate me. Why would I hate you? It's not like you lied. Carter gives me a guilty look and averts his eyes. Does this mean you've been lying to me from the start? No, I just didn't mention a few things. You don't usually tell someone your life story before you meet them. A lie of omission is still a lie, Karada, and this is far past our first meeting. I want to know you better. Tell me what haunts you at night or what you're afraid of so I can help. Karada signs by taking my hand. His gaze bores into mine as though he's looking for answers in my eyes. Whether he found his answer or not, he looks away, taking a deep breath before speaking up. Well, I traveled through time. You know, that was some pretty good foreshadowing, wasn't it? I think we'll end things off here. I totally called it. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, goodbye.